Hey, what's up, everybody? Time for another game theory video. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want to appreciate it. Thanks. I got asked a question today, so I want to do one of those. I want to talk about balance in the chaos, having very powerful moves. Somehow, at the end of the day, nature will find a way. Like I did that video about Super Turbo. Watch that video to know more what I'm talking about. And I'll show you some examples here. A guy asked me about alpha counters, and so I want to touch on that. I want to talk about how having less options sometimes makes a game more complicated, and I want to talk about why not having proximity normal sucks. So the first part is balance in the chaos, right? If we're to think about, say, a game like Street Fighter Alpha right here, right? Guy's Hurricane Kick is generally considered a very powerful move, right? It's very strong, right? However, when you have normals that are also very strong, many times these very powerful normals also overlap with this very powerful special move, and nature will find a way, like I've showed in Super Turbo, you know, normals against dragon punches and all that kind of stuff. And the special move that maybe at face value you might think is too powerful ends up not being, once you actually understand the game, as good as you thought, right? So if we were to look at a move like Guy's Hurricane Kick, right? Actually, it has weaknesses, right? Because look at this. Most characters in the game have a normal that Guy cannot beat with their Hurricane Kick, right? So if we look right here, boom, beats the little kick version, beats the medium kick version, hard kick version misses, right? Because generally speaking, Guy's Hurricane Kick goes, the light one goes through fireballs, they all go through fireballs, and it beats a lower attack poke, right? But the hard attack one can miss ducking a character's, right? And it will go above you, right? So we'll look at some more examples, right? Oh, a character like Birdie. Oh, Birdie sucks, right? Oh, well, Birdie's movement. See the hitbox, we see it right there. It's high enough that it's going to beat, you know what I mean, the little kick Hurricane Kick that is supposed to beat pokes because the hitbox is high. And if you do the hard kick one to beat that, then, well, guess what? He goes over you because it doesn't hit a character when they're at that middle space. So Birdie can poke Guy with that for, pretty reliably, right? And I'm going to show some match examples too of when me and Mike were playing, right? Look at a character like, hopefully I show it here. Oh, right? Versus Ryu. Ryu can duck fierce to beat Guy's Hurricane Kick, right? That's a little kick one. That's the medium kick one, right? Now the hard kick one can be a little bit iffy to beat sometimes, but I'll show an example here, right? There's a low kick one again, beats a medium kick one right there, right? Boom. It beats reversal hard kick, right? And I'm just showing this because hard kick can be a little iffy to time in real matches. But this is another, nature will find a way if you actually play the game. Watch an example here of me playing. Hopefully this is the next clip, right? Imagine I knock the guy down right here. Then guess what? So hopefully you'll see what I'm doing. I start to do my duck fierce, right? Boom. He does the hard kick, Hurricane Kick. He is invincible there, right? But you are already generally defaulting to a fireball. So you car cancel, and hard kick, Hurricane Kick cannot hit the ducking opponent, or that opponent from that range. And thus you're back. Well, I could have actually punished him, but you get the idea, right? Nature will find a way, right? And I think these clips are out of order. I'm sorry. That's the production value get on the FGC on NBC. Someone was asking me about alpha counters, and I said that an interesting thing about Alpha 1 is maybe you could say that alpha counters were too powerful in Alpha 2 because, again, if you roll with me here, sometimes giving a character too many different options makes it so there's always a best option to go to, and characters start becoming different shades of gray, right? So in Alpha 2, if we have two alpha counters, there's generally always a best alpha counter to do, right? This is my best alpha counter here. This is my best alpha counter here. Instead of giving characters sort of clear-cut weaknesses that actually make the character more interesting. So if we were to look at a character like Guy, and I'll show these examples, Guy has that alpha counter that you can use it for, Mike calls it like offensive alpha counters. I forget exactly how he phrases it, but you know what I mean? Guy's alpha counter is fast, right? Doesn't have as much recovery as other alpha counters, but it's not as invincible, right? And there's certain matchup knowledges and character specific interactions because Guy does not have that alpha counter that is aimed upwards, Guy is actually forced to eat block damage in situation that other characters are not, right? So Guy's got to eat all that block damage. Even if he tries to do last hit, boom, right? You know what I mean? Guy has to eat that, right? That's a weakness of Guy. Unlike, say, maybe another game or, where a guy might have an alpha counter that aims upward. Now Guy actually has a weakness that makes him unique instead of a game like Alpha 2 where, well, geez, we always have an alpha counter for this situation. Now we have clear cut sort of strengths and weaknesses for the character, right? And so we have some examples here. I forget exactly. See what I do right here, right? Boom, hop kick, he alpha counters me there. Oh, that's where I did that hurricane kick, so you can see it blocked. So there you see an example cell there. So here's an example of, say, versus Guy, anti-Guy strategies, right? So basically, Guy, you can harass Guy with these big, huge hitbox pokes, right? Because Guy's hurricane kick cannot beat it. So Guy is sort of forced to block, right? Because even if he tries the alpha counter, you can hurricane kick over the alpha counter because Guy does not have that alpha counter to beat it. It gives Guy a specific weakness, right? Here we go again. What's here, right? I think you get hit by that one, right? Boom. Just showing it, like, it's hard to actually deal with. It seems simple, but what I'm getting at is that balance in the chaos of having super powerful normals with super powerful special moves. You will see characters, they actually don't become that shades of gray. When you start toning down special moves, every special move has to do this. Every character must have a normal that does this, right? The characters start becoming shades of gray and you don't get these sort of interesting interactions, right? Like what happens here, boom. Again, boom. So I alpha countered, so hurricane kick. That's a weakness of Guy, so to speak, right there, right? So anyway, unfortunately, I guess I don't have it on tape or tape recorded. You know I'm old. I said tape, right? Unfortunately, I didn't show, and I want to talk about why proximity normals suck, or not having proximity normals suck, because another thing in Alpha 1 is, say, so Ryu, he does the duck hard punch, right? His duck fierce, right? But other characters, say, like Ken, you know what I mean? And I've made videos about it. Ken can harass you with, say, his stand strong, right? And it's just like Shotos were not meant to have a cancelable normal that they can just walk forward and mash and stand strong. And stand strong will beat guys' hurricane kicks. And like if you saw that other video, you know what I mean? If Guy were to even do a hard kick, hurricane kick, you are already preemptively, you know what I mean, about to roll trap or do a fireball, which the hurricane kick cannot hit, right? And that's another example. I just think that, when you have games like one of the problems of Alpha is that when you, and just fighting games in general now, when you have normals that, these you don't have to be proximity normals, you can start to harass characters and characters start to become poking kind of characters, if you will. And you can poke with attacks that you should not be able to poke with. You know what I mean? You can harass the other character with attacks that you should not to be able to harass them. A Shoto should not be of course, Shotos have pokes, of course, right? But they should not be poking you like a pixie, let's say, character, so to speak, right? Anyway, that was me, kind of killing multiple birds, 3 birds with 1 stone, right? I wanted to talk about the balance and the chaos, how powerful moves nature will find a way in the game. You know what I mean? Proximity normals suck, and again, a danger of progression in games is when you start giving characters all these different options, you will see the game again and the characters become kind of different shades of gray. You know what I mean? That's why a game like Alpha 1, I don't think Alpha 1 is an amazing game, but I don't think Alpha 1 is a game that is trying to be anything it's not, And there's still these interactions because there's still sort of a clusterfuck of feeling special moves, right? Not every character has an alpha counter for every situation. So it actually gives characters sort of different weaknesses, and you can try to counter characters in different ways. And then not having proximity normals suck. Anyway, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want to. Appreciate it. Thanks. The end.